Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my presentation. My name is Alon Bout. The topic of my presentation today is Tom Sawyer, hero of the realist period. You may be asking yourself, what is the realist period and who are some of its authors? Well, we're going to review that today in one part of my presentation. Firstly, we're going to talk about realism and what it is and who wrote it. Secondly, we're going to be talking about the historical period that realism was written within. Finally, we're going to look into the hero from the story Adventures of Tom Sawyer, who was authored by Mark Twain in the year 1876. Due to limited time I have, 3 to 5 minutes, I request that you ask your questions at the end of my presentation. Firstly, I will summarize the literary period. Realism was a writing style that was very realistic. The authors wanted to depict what was going on during that time. Humans were in control of their destinies, and events were usually plausible. The characters were very realistic also. Some authors of the realist period included Upton Sinclair and Rebecca Harding David, who wrote about factory workers. There was also Paul Laurence Dunbar and Charles Chestnut stories of the Black life, and Kate Chopin's views of marriage and women's role. Of course, Mark Twain, that we will be reviewing shortly. That's the end of my first point. Next point we'll be talking about is the historical period. The U.S. is changing drastically at this time. The Civil War is ended and Industrial Revolution is occurring. Everything is becoming mechanized. There's mass immigration to America, people searching for better lives and trying to make a better future for their families. There are bad working conditions. There's urbanization going on. There's a growing middle class that was very well read. So they wanted to really have good materials to read. People expected that people were preferred to read about what was happening right then. That's why the characters within the realist period clashed with romanticism, that that used a lot of symbolism and a lot of narrative. Readers really wanted to just know about what was happening in their time so they can understand it better. The last point we're going to go into is Tom Sawyer as a hero. There are 3 things that happen in the Adventures of Tom Sawyer that make him out to be the hero. First thing is when he decides to tell the truth in court and allows Muff Potter to be set free. He puts himself in mortal danger because Injun Joe, who actually did do the murder, was in the courtroom, and Tom basically put a target on himself because he's telling the truth, and now Injun Joe is not happy with that. So Tom is very nervous in that he is in danger. But he does that so that Muff Potter does not have to go to jail. The second part that makes Tom Sawyer a hero, or is an example of how he can be a hero, is when he gets Becky and him out of the cave. Now, they had gotten lost, and he does some searching through the tunnels that puts him in grave danger, but he was able to find a way out, and Becky was already giving up, and he was able to bring her to safety. The last is that can be recognized as Tom being a hero is when he was in the caves. He actually saw Injun Joe with gold and treasures that he had collected, and him and Huck ended up going back to get those treasures and bring those back. Which is interesting is it didn't end happily ever after because it's realism. Tom and Huck have all this money, but they are Huck Finn mentions how every day he feels like he wants to die, and it's kind of interesting that money doesn't bring you happiness, and it's kind of just more problems. And so that is how Tom is a hero. In conclusion, in this presentation, my objectives were to explain what realism is, inspire you to read Adventures of Tom Sawyer, and to talk about how Tom Sawyer is a hero. I've covered those 3 points: realism and its style. We talked about the period of realism and how Tom Sawyer was a hero. I hope you have found this presentation useful. Is there any questions? No? Then this would be the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.